This is where we call home. It is classic suburbia. It's kids running and playing and families, and it's the good life, so to speak. We're not gonna stop wanting to be here just because of a bad thing that happened. Carson was very intense as a kid. He wanted everything he did to be the best.
He's always been that kid that you could, tell him to do something, he would accomplish it.
In retrospect, we see he was hitting a few bumps in the road. There was just these series of things that he was processing them as huge disappointments and really big hurdles that he didn't know how to handle. We didn't know how much that was bothering him at the time. It was March 4th that night, 2017. I woke up at 3:04 in the morning, and I had a sense that something was off. And so I got out of bed and I started walking down the hall, and I heard something in the garage, and I found him.
I was sound asleep, so the first thing I heard was her screaming. And I probably jumped out of bed faster than I've ever jumped out of bed in my life.
He shot himself at about 3:03. It seems like forever when you're laying there with him and waiting, but help came and things then moved very quickly.
The first thing I felt when I woke up was I was scared. I didn't know where I was. I was in a lot of pain, obviously. My parents were obviously the first two people I saw when I woke up after my suicide attempt. And the very first thing that I wrote down was, "I'm sorry." I had felt this pressure that I had to live up to expectations that really weren't set on me. I had to get straight A's, had to be the best in sports and that kind of thing. I kind of thought that if I didn't do that I was a failure and I had disappointed them. And that was kind of what drove me to the thoughts that the only way out of this was to try and take my own life. The way I describe it is falling down like a black hole, It's dark, scary, and it's fast. It just happens, and you're not really expecting it. At this point, I was conscious enough to realize, the gravity of the decision that I had made and the consequences from it.
And I said, there is nothing to be sorry for. You are forgiven for anything and everything. It's okay. This is an illness. This is not your fault.
It's like you had blinders on and all of a sudden your peripheral vision just got way better all of a sudden because you see maybe just how many people struggle with this on a daily basis.
Statistics are startling. It's something that everybody's seeing across the country, but in Wisconsin in particular, we have some statistics that are really scary for our children. We have a very high suicide rate in teenagers. 1 in 4 of our kids in high school are telling us that they've had thoughts of depression and anxiety. Every statistic that you look at tells you that our children are suffering.
Children's Wisconsin has a vision that we will have the healthiest kids in the nation here in Wisconsin. We made a $150 million commitment to improving the mental and behavioral health for all of our kids in Wisconsin.
We're working on early detection, early intervention, prevention of mental health issues. We're working on access and trying to decrease the stigma around getting mental health care.
Stigma around mental illness is real, and it's long-standing. One of the ways we can best reduce stigma is by sharing our own stories.
Carson, he wanted people to know what happened to him, and one of the things he said was, I want that girl that cuts to know she's not alone.
One of my biggest goals of sharing my experience and sharing my story is I want to prevent anyone from going through the same things that my family and I went through. I know personally what it feels like to be in that very dark place right before you attempt suicide, but it doesn't last forever.
My biggest piece of advice to parents is start that conversation. Don't be afraid to talk to your kids about mental health.
And we need people to feel okay with saying, I'm not okay. And it's amazing when you open up that conversation piece and make them comfortable, how many people are able to come and talk about it and then get the help that they need.
I'm still seeing the same therapist that I saw at Children's Hospital only a few days after I got there. When you think of the word mental health or mental illness, it's kind of like a negative connotation. It doesn't have to be that way. What I look most forward to in my future is kind of just the curiosity of seeing what's next. But now you get to see me graduate high school, go to college, graduate college, you know, get married. Maybe I'll give you guys a couple grandkids. You know, those are all things that you guys get to see now that we weren't sure if you guys would ever get to see. And those are things I get to experience. That's all normal things, and I'm excited to get on with that part of my life.